All right, so I'm working on these drive screws here, and I got the pliers on one. I don't know what in the point in these things are. Why not just tap it and put a freaking bolt in there? I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure they have a good purpose on something somewhere, but um, all the research I've found talks about getting them off with out of like nameplates and stuff like that. I don't really understand why Spicer used those instead of like a smooth head, like something like that. Um, that's what I think. That's what I'm gonna do. I said previously that kind of scares me, tapping into there and everything. But I kind of think that I can get a magnet up underneath and be able to catch pretty much everything with the magnet and stuff the hole full and this big hole stuff that full. Put bolts in there and try to contain the debris as much as I can, and then I'll probably flush this transmission. Um, because this is retarded. I'm not putting them damn things back in there. I'm gonna tap it probably 1/4 inch and put something like that in there, because you have to have something real flat, because there's this, but you do have, I don't know if that's a 1/4 inch or probably about a 1/4 inch from here to there. So you do have to, you can't put like a big head bolt in there. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. And okay, I can't get the thing out with the pliers and heat, so I've got this magnet. I busted it in half or whatever, quarters, whatever. I'm gonna try to stick that up underneath. I'm gonna try to stick that right here. And then my plan is that obviously when I drill this through, this magnet will catch everything. I'll be able to pull this back and just pull that right out of there. So that's my plan. Maybe I should wrap a string around it just in case I do drop it. All right, so that worked. I got the hole threaded. You can see it there. The magnet deal did work. I got all the junk out of there. It just came right out. And then I did run this magnet in there just to make sure of anything that stuck to the side or anything. And this brought out a very little bit. So it pretty much all stuck to that magnet. So we're good there. And so now I just have to do the one in the back right there. All right, I got everything fixed. Everything's tapped. Everything's good to go. I'm gonna, I put oil in it, and I dumped oil, put new oil in it. Now I've got to bolt this down. I'm gonna put this green Loctite on there. I don't know if I need the high temp, but it's a medium strength high temp. But this is probably the best stuff that I have. I have some blue, but it's a little bit older and it's not Loctite, and so I don't know. I just think this is the best that I have, and so this is what I'm going to use. Well, there you have it. They are now, it's a lot more serviceable. Why they didn't do that, I have no idea. I mean, that seems a lot more logical to me than those damn hammer screws. That hole there, when I drilled in the transmission and tapped it, it was off a little bit, so I drilled it out a little bit bigger. I don't know what this stuff is made out of, but I'm telling you what, it's harder than diamond. It ruined a bit. Had oil on it, but it ruined the first bit when I tried to make it a little bit bigger, because I don't have a Dremel or anything. I thought maybe I could make it a little bigger with a bigger drill bit and it'd work. Well, that didn't work. So I went in there and did it with a bigger drill bit, and I had my wife stand there with PB Blaster and just spray it, and it did not ruin that bit. But then it still wasn't quite right, so I had to file it out on this side over here. After those big bits, I had that my file would fit in there, and I could file it out on this side a little bit. But it works. So yeah, that's a lot more gooder than them stupid hammer screws. So I just put those bolts in there to keep it aligned, the gasket and everything, and of course make sure that those two are in the right spot. So yeah, now I can put my shift tower on. Well, there's a shift tower. I will say when I took this off, this gasket was not that gasket. So the gasket it had was the gasket that is for the underneath that plate in there, and it just goes along here. So I don't know what the purpose of them making this gasket so inclusive in the middle is. I do know that fluid comes up through here, so maybe they're trying to keep the fluid from going, you know, over into here. There's no reason for it to be on top of here, in between here and that plate. So when I make these gaskets, if I can, I try to make these holes to where the bolts will stay in it like that. And so these bolt holes are all the way through, so fluid does get on these bolts. So I put pneumatic Loctite on there. I don't know if that's what they call for or not, but I mean, I figure it's going through, the fluid's going through there, so I put some pneumatic Loctite on there. So yeah, this is cut out all the way because of the springs back there, and then there's like a little divot, if you see in the other picture, like a little bulge there. So I'm sure that's why they cut that out there for that. So I'm gonna get this on there. Well, there you have it. Shift tower's on. Hopefully it don't leak. Hopefully I did everything good. Looks a lot better now that it's on. I'm happy. I don't want to mess with it anymore. Now I gotta figure out how to clean this dang carpet.